All right, hey guys, welcome to Traditional Bowhunting Wilderness Podcast. Jason here. Today we're going to do something a little different that I haven't done before. We're going to do it. I'm going to do this a little more often because we are getting a bunch of them between this channel, and my Patreon. I get a lot of Q&A stuff. In the Patreon, I answer every one of those Q&As immediately and give full details and everything. On here, I do the best I can. I can't answer everything all the time. I get a bunch of emails, and like I said, I try to answer your questions. But we're going to do a little Q&A session today and answer some of the questions you guys have had for me. So I got a few of them here. We're going to dive into a couple. We'll see how long we get through them as far as it goes and how long that time is. First one, though, is pretty interesting, and I got it twice now. Why is my door on my house a door on the outside like this and then a screen door on the inside? Why is it set up that way? Fantastic question. Hang on, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Now, the reason for that is because this house is over 110 years old, and we love it, but it is a 100-year-old house, and it's got some really weird quirks, okay? And at one time, when they did this, hang on, stop, Gunner, stop. Sorry. When they did this house, when they redid our bathroom back in the day and they tiled it, all that weight had caught, they didn't realize it, but they put all that tile in the bathroom and it started to drop down and settle a little bit. They immediately stopped it and fixed it and corrected it and then re-supported it. This is many, many years ago. But when that happened, there's a slight slope right here. If we switch these doors around, the gap underneath of it has to be about that big. These doors have been this way since we bought it. It's kind of a weird little quirk, but again, it is a 110-year-old house, so we leave this door open. We prop it there with a brick. We got our screen door, which we then go through to get in the house. So yes, it is a little unique. It is a little different, but it is because of the fact that it is a 100-year-old house. I put this little clamp on there to keep that shut when we're using it and not locking it. So it's a really weird setup. But again, 110-year-old house has got its unique little quirks. We love it here. All right, now for the bow hunting stuff here, question-wise. Best tab, okay, I get this one quite a bit here too. I shoot a neat tab, okay, and there's, at first, I've been shooting these for 20-something years, and I like them, and they're good, but they're what I call a disposable tab, okay, especially down here, down in the south. See, this is it right here. This is a neat tab, okay. I modify mine. I pull out the foam. I glue these together, these pieces. I made videos about this. I wear it right there like that. Okay, this is it. It's thin. It's lively. I feel everything. I like the way it is, but you can see how oblong and stretched out that is. That used to be a nice round hole. Okay, and you can see the condition of this tab, okay? And it's a good thing you can't smell through the camera, because you got to understand, I'm down here in the south and we're in summertime now. So this thing is so wet most of the time. Like one of the hogs I just missed, what was it, about a week and a half ago? If you're in my Patreon, you see it. You'll see it coming up. It's in Vlog 10. But when I went to, I had that pig there and I drew, and when I drew and went to shoot, as soon as I put that tension on the string, all this sweat and wetness was coming out of my tab. It was running down my face as I drew back and made that shot. Because of your tab, your hands, you get so much sweat from your body down here on a 90-degree day that you sweat so much, and as your hands are down, it just runs and it just fills. Your hands are everything you have is covered in sweat, and the tab takes a lot of abuse. So for me, I'm kind of glad I still shoot these, because I can get these things for like $10 online, these neat pinch-free tabs. Matter of fact, I just ordered like a bunch of them. I bought 8 from the Knocking Point. 4 of them, I got to actually get 4 different ones, though, because 4 were calf hair, but I have probably 15 of these, and they're affordable, they're cheap. I go through 2 a year. One, it is going to basically, that I use, I change them. I change them out before the hunting season, and I run it through the hunting season, through all the fall season or the winter season, all that kind of stuff. And then I usually will switch one out right around April-ish, like right in that time frame. And then I'll use that one, and that one will go all the way through till right before next hunting season. But that summertime one, it's been pretty rough shape. I mean, the sweat, the DEET, the chemicals, the humidity, the everything, the constantly being wet, they take a beating. If you're looking for a best one, and the reason that I don't shoot one of the best ones, the only reason I don't is because of the fact that now living down here, like I said, I am the humidity, the sweat, and I am so hard because I hunt all year on these tabs. I don't want to spend the money on a better one. But if I were, it would be from Mark Harrison over there at Omnivore Quivers. His tabs are second to none. They're absolutely amazing. They are incredible tabs, and they would probably hold up to way more than I could do with this stuff. But they also cost quite a bit more money. Not ridiculous, but well worth it. And that's probably what I would shoot, and that's probably what I would say is the best tab out there. But these neat ones for me, like I said, is a disposable, and I've been using them for so long. I do like them. Next question on there, but if you're looking for a tab and you're not dealing with what I am, which is, again, spending 6 months a year hunting in 95 to 100 degree temperatures all day, where you are sweat, when I mean sweat, I mean literally put your clothes on, jump into your pool, come out, and then just start going hunting. That is literally what I'm like. Your feet, your shoes will squeak like you've walked through water that from sweat inside of them. You have no idea unless you come down and do 10 miles or even 8 miles on a 100 degree day. You have no idea what I'm talking about. I will drink over 1.5 gallons of water in one day. It's unreal. People cannot put it together, and you get a choice. You can either be out in the sun in an air fryer, or you can go into the swamp where it's shaded and be in a sauna. You got a choice, sauna or air fryer. That's basically what it is. So it's a whole different world, and my tabs take a lot of abuse for that. Next question on here too, I think goes right along with that's why I picked that one. Yeah, rubber bow grip. Yes, I use a rubber bow grip. I have for 20 years. Up north, I liked it because of the fact that it's, it was impervious when I was bow fishing to fish slime and, chemicals like DEET and stuff like that, and it is. Down here, it is more vital to me than anything else there, again, because my hands are soaking wet. And I don't mean just like wet because I got a little water on them. I mean, they are pouring through the skin. Water is coming out as you sweat, and they are so slippery, and this rubber grip helps tremendously with that, and it is impervious to the DEET. Okay, I spray DEET on my hands, I wipe it all over my body, and then I'm set. Even then, even after I wipe my hands off and clean all that off, it is still in there, and it permeates, and it goes through. In Michigan, I could put one rubber grip on and leave it there, and it would be fine for 10 straight years. Down here, I go through 2 of them a year. Not because they fail or because there's any issues with that as far as the rubber, they're not doing their job, but because that chemical DEET and the amount of salt in your sweat and all this stuff, it will actually loosen those up to where they'll actually start rolling. I can feel them kind of stretch enough that where they'll start rolling on there. I pull it off, put a new one on. It takes 30 seconds. And I use bike tubes. I do not buy the online versions of these rubber grips. I just use a bicycle tube. I use a 1.75 inch to 2.25 inch, whatever length you want, 24, 26, 20 inch, doesn't matter, the diameter of tire for a bicycle tube, but a 1.75 to 2.25 is a tube, and that fits pretty much every longbow out there and most recurves for the most part too, but it's just functional and simple, and it doesn't fail, and it protects my bow. It also lets me put a stick or a zip tie or anything I want to in here as an arrow holder, and I've done videos on it. I wonder if I can see one laying somewhere around here that I can just grab right here. Here's one right here. We'll take this piece. So I can take this off of any tree, just a little twig, and I can roll back my grip and just roll this back here, stick that in there like that, and now when I take my arrow and I put it on here when I'm hunting, and we stick this on here on a tree, okay, that little holder keeps that from falling off. See, I can tip that. It doesn't matter if the wind blows it around. Okay, it does not fall off because it's held on by that little stick right there. That's the beauty and advantage of that. When I go to shoot, I don't have to even move that. I can leave that right there and it's not going to affect nothing. Or I can take my hand like this and just pull it out. Or I can take my finger like this with a stick and just do this. Bam, and bend it out of the way. Just fold it right down and then shoot. Okay, so I got those options. So it's a very functional way to be able to keep that on there. So rubber grip is multifunctional for me. I have not had leather on a grip on a bow in 20 years. Like I said, rubber is the only way I go, and I just make my own out of a bike tube on every bow I have, and it works flawlessly. All right, next one we got on here. Let's see. All right. Why helmet liners? Okay, if you're in my Patreon, you see this. I hunt every single day down here, and I did not start this till I moved to Georgia, but I wear a helmet liner, an actual motorcycle. It's camouflage. Buy them on Amazon, but it's a camouflage motorcycle helmet liner is what it is. It's very moisture wicking, breathes pretty good, but I wear it for 2 reasons. One, I'm bald. So it keeps that shine down. Shine coming off my head is pretty serious thing. It's going to really let animals know I'm there, especially the contours of a head. So I do not want that shine factor, so I can put that on. Number 2 factor, it covers my ears for the gnats. These helmet liner sizes that I buy, they barely do it, but they will cover just below my ears to make it where no gnats can get in my ears. I cannot tolerate the gnats down here in my ears. The other factor is that it's not hot like a hat. A hat is warm. This thing breathes really good, so I do not get hot. It's going to let perspiration come through. I can take it to every creek I go by in the summertime. I just stick it in there, dunk it, put it right back on my head. It's refreshing, but it dries super quick. And then the other factor is because I always have a GoPro on my head, because I'm filming everything for my Patreon. All my hunts are on Patreon. Those of you guys that follow this channel, and I've actually had people comment that too and say, do you even hunt anymore? All I see is you're shooting stuff and things like that. You haven't talked about hunting in forever. All this stuff's on my Patreon channel. Okay, membership has privileges. There's a lot of people out there that give you a ton of stuff for free. Got Robert Carter's channel. He takes you on his hunts for free. James Wood takes you on his stuff for free. You got Josh over there at Hook and Hoof or whatever it is. I can't remember his channel, but it's amazing. These guys take you for free. Mine is not free. My hunting stuff is not. It is $15 a month, but I put out so much content, it's unbelievable on there. Every week, things that will help you, but it's not for free. But I always have that GoPro on because I'm constantly filming all of my hunts for that Patreon channel. So having that GoPro, I can't have a build hat with a rim on there because that GoPro doesn't sit right and stuff like that. So I went to that helmet liner. So it's a multifunctional tool that I absolutely love. I think I got 25 or 30 of those things. You get them as like a 5 or 6 pack for $15. They're absolutely amazing. And Amazon has them in camo. All right. Now, what broadheads am I going to shoot this year? It's going to be razors. But keep in mind, there's so many great heads out there. I don't care if it's a Zwicky. I don't care if it's a Ace head. Love those. Even the new Magnus heads that are coming out. You can't get a bad head today. Myself personally, I am a huge fan of wide cut broadheads. I love the razor and what this company has done, and I love everything about what they do. And I talk to them all the time, and they actually listen for input on things, and they want to know my opinion on it as to why this versus that and things like that. And I love how they're customer oriented. I love everything about their broadheads. A Boyer is another one. I loved A Boyer. I was shooting those before razor was even started. Larry sold the company. When Larry was in that transitional period of getting ready to get out of it, it was near impossible to get him to find a Boyer head. Now they're under new ownership. They're being made regularly. There's tons of them available. They're top quality heads. A Boyer is another absolutely fantastic one. But don't think you can't go wrong with something as simple as the Ace Standards or the Ace Express or the Super Ace heads or the Zwicky No Mercies, or any of these heads all work fantastic. Razor, however, has got some very unique, cool stuff coming out this year. Matter of fact, as the time I'm recording this, I have all of their lineup and everything ready, which I'm going to go do a video on. I cannot publish that video until they release all this stuff, but I have all their new stuff, and I'm here to tell you, pretty sweet stuff. So we'll see what happens with that. But but like I said, you'll find out pretty soon. As soon as they tell me it's go time, I will publish that video and you'll see those details. But some pretty awesome new stuff coming from Razor. But broadhead wise, those are what I shoot. If my 2 favorite broadheads right now, Razor and A Boyer, and I shoot the Razors more, and I got a lot of A Boyers, but I really like the Razor heads a lot. But both of them, they're both absolutely amazing, as is pretty much any head you get out there today. Next question on there, this Quiver. Okay. And I've got this one like 5 times since I did that video on it. Okay, this is my Creekwalker Trading Quiver from Donnie Wilkinson over there at Creekwalker Trading. Amazing quiver. And the question is, after shooting my Great Northern for 20-something years, which one do I like better? It's actually a pretty easy answer. It really is. But you got to understand that I spent 25 years shooting a Great Northern quiver, and I loved it. And it always served me well, and it always did fantastic. And it fit a lot of arrows in a compact unit. It was excellent. I straight up loved it. I have Selways on Tina's bow. I had Selway quivers on the kids' bows. BOA Thunderhorn bows, which is almost like a Selway. There are so many amazing quivers out there. Okay, this Creekwalker Trading Quiver. I have to honestly say, is the best quiver that I've ever used, hands down. I really do. Things that you don't realize or notice until you actually have this quiver. The way that it does not move. When I would take and shoot my other with the Great Northern, foomp, and you shoot, you could feel that whole quiver bouncing on that bow. You could feel it, see it. It would do this kind of thing. This quiver does not move. Your bow feels so stable. I guess the best way I could describe it is putting this quiver on there versus my Northern quiver, which I'm not knocking. But with the Great Northern quiver on, it's like driving a car with, or driving a truck with, 250,000 miles on the shocks. And then when you put this on, it's like you went to the store and got all brand new shocks, ball joints, and all new suspension stuff, and it rides nice and tight like a new car. That's the feeling you get, and it has to do with the rigidness of this. Now it comes at a little more of a cost of a little more weight, okay? Everything is a trade-off, but I love that. I also love the distance. The gripper distance is the same here as the Great Northern, okay? But notice how the Great Northern hood would be right here. The head would be right down here, and then the gripper would be right here. This one lets me stretch these out, moves the hood up higher, moves the bottom of my arrows up higher up my bow, and centers this package out on my bow much better. And it spaces the distance between the hood and the grippers, which keeps my arrows. They do not ever make a sound. Where with that Great Northern, once in a while, boom, you'd hear that little, you'd hear, I can't even duplicate. You'd hear it like that. You'd hear those feathers rattle together. Never once on this, okay? The size of the hood gives me capabilities to make this into a 6-arrow if I want to. At any given time, there's so much room in there. I can fit any broadheads, long, short, doesn't matter. Everything fits in this. The gripper grips arrows. Not once in all my sessions with this, where on my Great Northern, you will see in every video you watch that I shoot, okay? Every video where I'm using a Great Northern quiver, boom, 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 and you'll see me, and then I got to do this. Okay, you'll see me doing this. I don't even think about it, okay? Boom, boom. You'll see me do this as I shoot. What am I doing? I'm pushing my arrows back in the quiver because the gripper would let them slide down on a Great Northern. Again, great quiver, but they would always slide down on me, okay? And I'd always have to push them back in and stick them back up in there. You'll see me do that on every video. This one, never once. This gripper bites. Never once have I had to touch this gripper or ever push an arrow back up into there. Never once. Not even my judo. I've never had to. So, in my opinion, officially, best quiver I've ever used. There are many great quivers. This is also one of the most expensive at like $200 or whatever it is. Don't think this is cheap. It's not. It's more money. Worth it? 100%. This is by far the best quiver I've ever had on my bow, and I don't think I'll ever own or I'll never have another bow that doesn't have one of these quivers on it. So it'll always be there. As far as my saying on there, the Lord willing, I straight up love having that on there. Why? Why did I pick that? Because it just makes everything okay. Am I a religious guy? Yes and no. Do I go to church? Probably more than most people do because I'm a wedding photographer, so I'm in church all the time. I'm in there multiple times a week and have been for 30 years. But as far as going there on my own, not too often. But that doesn't make me non-religious, and it doesn't make me not believe in God. And me and God, especially when you've lost a child, you've been through more stuff with God than most people will ever dream of. So I've been in there all kinds of ways. So that is a very fitting quote for me that I wanted on there. So whether it bothers some people and they're thinking that I'm making this channel religious, you can kiss me in the rear end. I don't care what you think. It's my channel. It's not anything about what you care or what you want or what you think. This is mine. You put on yours whatever you want to. This is mine. That is my world, and if I want to write that on my quiver, then you're going to deal with it or don't watch the channel. It is what it is. But anyway, that quiver, straight up love it. So let's see, what else do we got on here? Right here. And when I say this is mine, I don't mean you can't do that. If you want to put that on your quiver, put it on your quiver. What I mean is don't come on to my channel and give me crap for making my channel have anything religious in it or political or anything like that. You don't get to tell me what to do with my channel. Start your own channel, and if you don't want anything religious or like that, or you don't want something like that on your channel, don't put it on there. But don't think you can come on here and tell me what to do with my channel. That's what I'm getting at. All right, now this one here. Great one here. So how to find hunting land when you go to a new area. Okay. This is a tricky one. It's getting harder and harder to do this stuff, to pull this off. So guy had asked this. He just moved to a new spot, and he doesn't have access to a lease anymore. He's actually down in Texas too. This came through my Patreon. So what do you do when you go to a new place or you lose your lease or something like that? How do you find new hunting property? You're going to have to Google search it, okay? But there's going to be plenty of resources online, interactive maps and things like that, WMA locations, even your OnX. If you open up on your OnX in that state and you click on public hunting areas and whatever else the menus are, the government accessible lands, they got all these little layers that you can activate, and then you can zoom in and out on close to your area and see, and they'll show up as green on there, okay, on your OnX, and you can then look those up. They even name them, but you can see what's on there. But that's going to be your best bet. An online internet search or through your OnX or anything you can is going to help you find what those areas are around there. Then once you find them, do a little cyber scouting on them. Be sure to pay attention to parking lots and things where people are there, how much pressure they're getting, if you can figure anything out. Walking trails. Are there equestrian trails there that are being used all the time? That kind of stuff. Do they have, is there a mountain bike trail there where in the fall it's going to be overrun with mountain bikers? All the kind of stuff you want to look at it. Cyber scout it. If it's good and it's on your list, write it down, and then when you get a chance, go look at it in person. But that's the best way. Really, the only option you have is to dive in deep, do some internet searches based on your area and see what's around here. But there's a lot of military or DNR maps around there that'll show you what's there for you. And also OnX will as well too. Then next question, last question. How long in are we? Oh, we're already 22 minutes in. One more and then we're done. All right. Is there multiple sharpnesses? Okay. This is a great question. And yes, there is. If I look at even my own history of sharpening my stuff, 25 years ago, I would get something sharp enough that it would shave. Okay. It would shave perfectly. And I thought it was sharp, and it was good. And I hunted with it, and I killed a lot of animals with it, and it worked fantastic. 5 years later, I would get stuff that was sharp, but it was much, much sharper than what was sharp before. And I would kill stuff, and it would work, and it would do that. 5 years after that, I would get stuff much sharper than what that was then. Even though all of them are shaving, it would get much, much better. So there are multiple levels. At the stage I'm at in my life right now, I think that I can sharpen things on a level that is unbelievable. Okay, not unmatched. There's many people that can do better than me. But I can get things sharp enough that it is so ridiculously scary that anybody that touches my broadheads, touches my knife, anything like that, they're automatically like, whoa, their eyes light up. Somebody asks to borrow your knife and you take your knife out and you hand it to them and they're like, ooh, that kind of thing. Wow. That's the stage that I'm at, and I like being at that stage. Does that mean that any of those other stages were not good or not good enough? Does not mean that at all. Okay, we always strive for perfection. I would much rather see you sharpen it yourself, get it where it's shaving hair and good enough to do that. And if that's as far as you can get it, good. Use that and do it. I'd rather you do that than go pay somebody else to sharpen your heads for you, get them even sharper and give them back to you. Why? Why do I say that? Because if it'll shave hair and it's doing that stuff, it's probably, if it'll cut the rubber bands, it's going to be good enough to do the job. And you are learning, okay? If you automatically have somebody else do the work for you, you will never learn. I just showed you a progression of every time I do this, I get better and better, and I still get better and better. You will not have that if you're not the one doing it. So don't let somebody else do it for you. Don't be alarmed if you're not as good as you want to be, because you know what? Even right now, I'm not really as good as I want to be. I don't think any of us are. We always strive to get better. So don't rule that out, and do it on your own so you can benefit from it and gain that knowledge and skill as you go. As long as you are getting them where they are sharp enough to shave with, that simple thing. If you can get them to pop hair off and shave, they are good enough to do the job. Anything more than that is definitely bonus, and you will see that as you gain more and more on it. But there is a pride to sharpening. There's a skill set to sharpening. All these heads that you see coming in, they're hunt ready sharp. Are they good enough sharp? Yeah, they're good enough for most things. Not good enough for what I want. I'm going to take them to a whole nother level. But that's me at this point. If you want to get to a point where you're looking at things and going, God, that's sharp enough, but that's not how sharp I want it. You have to start somewhere, and you have to build it up, and you have to do this on your own. Okay, you have to make this a reality, and it starts from experience. You can't go buy the coolest new whiz-giz Bismo thingamajobber that does everything, and you wiggle it this way, turn it over, and it flips it here, and it does that. You walk around one circle, and then you come in underneath, and it's got it done. You can buy that and try it, and it's going to help you probably, but until you can feel, until you can touch that edge and feel and listen to it, till you can run it on a strop and it speaks to you in a language that you can understand, and you can hear what it's saying as you're going across that strop. Even on denim, when you can feel what it's doing, then it becomes real. Okay, and in order to get to that, you have to start somewhere. And when you start somewhere, you just keep evolving over time. That is the best practice. But as long as you can get them shaven sharp, they're ready to hunt with. Go ahead, hunt. And then as you progress later on, you'll find that it gets better and better, sharper and sharper, and you become real proud of it. And it's a skill set that you will pass down. So I think everybody should sharpen their own. Yes, there are multiple levels of sharpness. They all work just fine. So, all right, we're going to end this one here because we are already 26 minutes in. Hope you enjoyed this. I will probably do a few more, especially now it's summertime. Okay, this is a slow season. When all content creators for bow hunting stuff, we kind of drop off. All of our views go from here and go right down to half because everybody's golfing and swimming and playing and doing stuff. You don't get quite the views. Everything kind of drops down. So that's why you'll notice I've done some like tent reviews. I got a couple things coming out on truck stuff. I did one on my little boat motor. It's that time of year to throw in some of these little oddball things. But remember, I still do 2 videos every single week on this channel, so I make sure to include a lot of shooting stuff. My hunting stuff, you don't see a lot of hunting stuff here anymore. It goes on my Patreon. Link is below for the Patreon if you want to get in there and check it out. That stuff's running. I hunt all year long. There's always stuff hunting related and all my hunting vlogs and my hunting videos all year long running on there. Okay, but this channel, like I said, I don't put a lot of hunting stuff on here. That's members only stuff. But anyway, hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back with more stuff soon. Talk to you later.